Countersteering is by far the most misunderstood aspect of riding a motorcycle. There are plenty of people out there who don't even have any idea what countersteering is at all, and there are people that understand what it is and deny that it works, and then there are people, the majority of people I would say, who just don't fully understand what's going on with countersteering. One of the things that people tend to cling on to is the idea that countersteering only works above a certain speed. You have to be going X number of kilometers per hour for countersteering to take effect. And that's not true. Countersteering works at any speed. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you're going, countersteering does work. There are several reasons why countersteering works, and only understanding one or two of those reasons is probably why people tend to misunderstand it. The most common understanding of countersteering is that it works based on gyroscopic precession. That is a factor. It is not the only factor. So the idea is that if a wheel, which acts as a gyroscope, I wish this thing would turn better. A spinning wheel acts as a gyroscope. If you change the axis by, say, turning the handlebars that the wheel is spinning around, then it will pitch. So if you take a motorcycle wheel that is spinning, you turn it to the right, the wheel, you've changed the axis it's spinning on, it will respond by leaning the other way. And you can feel that if you take a wheel and spin it between your hands, push forward with one hand, it will lean. That was the initial understanding of countersteering. That was why people understood that it worked. They didn't understand that there was more to it than just that, and a lot of people still don't get that, even people who are instructors, people who are teaching, don't fully understand countersteering. Another factor, and the main one that matters when it comes to low speed stuff, is simply balance. If you turn the wheel this way, essentially what you're doing is moving the balance point of the bike off to the right. So unless, and this will only work at low speeds, unless you shift the weight and keep the bike balanced over that turned wheel, it's going to want to lean this way. It's the same thing as if you're standing with your feet side by side and you pick up one foot without adjusting your weight at all. You will fall to that side. That is essentially what we're doing with the motorcycle. We are moving the balance point and making the motorcycle fall the other way. Then we will catch the motorcycle and stop it from falling and continue with our turn. We're basically making the motorcycle fall, and then once it's leaned over, we can turn. There is more to it than that, but I don't want this to turn into a super long video. One of the other things that people tend to get wrong about countersteering is just how much of it is required. There are people out there that say to countersteer or to turn left, you need to countersteer through the whole turn. You push left on the left handlebar, or you push forward on the left handlebar, and you keep doing that as you turn, and that's wrong. Countersteering only initiates the turn. After that, the wheel will turn in the direction you want to go. So going forward, you countersteer because you want to go left, the bike leans to the left, the wheel will come back on its own, you don't move it. That's another misunderstood thing. the wheel comes back on its own and ends up pointed in the direction you're going. You don't have to do anything other than maintain balance once you countersteer. Balance is maintained through the use of throttle or brakes. We want some sort of force on the bike through the turn, either slowing it down or speeding it up. Coasting is not ideal. A tiny little bit of throttle will maintain your speed, but definitely coasting, like pulling in the clutch mid-turn, is a bad move. You don't have good balance if you do that. There's a lot of things that people just get wrong. And the easiest way to correct it is to just say the things that are the simplest parts that are true. Countersteering works at any speed, and it initiates the lean. That's about it. If you want to tighten your turn, you countersteer again. If you're turning left and you need to make your turn tighter, you can lean more by pushing forward on the left handlebar while you're leaned over. If you want to stand the bike up, you can push forward on the right handlebar and it will stand the bike up if you're leaned to the left. That's it. Whichever direction you want to go, push forward on that bar. You're not pushing down. You're not turning the wheel into the turn after you've countersteered, and you're not continuing to countersteer throughout the turn unless you need to make an adjustment to your lean angle. It's a really simple thing, it's just that no one seems to get it quite right. People don't understand it. And it matters. It's something people need to know, because if you're in an emergency situation and you need to move over to the left or to the right, or you're not making the turn you want, and if you just lean the bike a little bit more, you can make the turn and not crash. Those are moments when you need to understand countersteering, because if you get it wrong, if you turn the wheel in the direction you want to go, you're going to go the opposite direction, and that's not a good idea. So it's not a terribly complicated thing, but people just seem to misunderstand it. I will probably do a video where I nerd out on this whole thing and go way too in-depth into it, but that'll be really boring for most people, and I don't really want everyone to be completely bored. I know my videos aren't terribly exciting so far, but I'm just trying to get the information out, and countersteering matters a lot. It's a tough one for me to try and keep simple and then just shut up about, but I'm gonna try.